What's up guys, I'm Dean and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. If you've come from my TikTok account, which is also called Dean's Beans, thank you for taking the time to check me out here as well. Now, for my first ever video, I thought what better to talk about than the new movie that I saw today, and that's Mortal Kombat. I know I'm watching it a little late, but I was waiting to watch it in the cinema, which opened in the UK this week, and I'm so glad. And to be honest, I think watching in the cinema definitely improved this movie a fraction. Oh, yeah, quick disclaimer, I'm not going to be talking any spoilers either. So let's get into my verdict in this movie. Was it one of the dumbest movies I've seen in a very, very long time? Definitely, yes. It was so dumb and there was very little substance to it. But did I love it? Yeah, I kind of did. I had a lot of fun with it. So let's start talking about the characters, of which in this movie that there are really none. I'll just go through them quickly. So the main character in this movie is Cole Young. He isn't in the games, but I wouldn't know that. I don't really know anything about the games. And his personality is that he has a wife and a daughter. And that's about it. Let's quickly talk about his wife and daughter though. This movie has one of the blandest wives I've ever seen. It's kind of a trope in action movie that you have a wife who gets put in danger and the main character's like goal is to try and save them, and I think this movie does a bit of that as well, but the wife is just barely a character. She has very few lines and they're mostly exposition. There's very little interesting there. The daughter does do a better job, there is more of her, but it's still really not great. Apart from Raiden, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, I don't know any of the other characters' names, and also those three characters don't do much, so I won't really be talking them about at all. So just give me a second while I look up the names of the other characters. Josh Lawson plays Kano. He's the Australian guy in this movie, and he's the character I think is closest to having a personality and closest to having an arc. Did I like his personality? No, he did get on my nerves a little bit, and he does exist in this somehow new stereotype of being an annoying Australian character, which does seem to come up a lot, but he had the closest to an arc, and he was very funny at times. I don't think there was any other bits I laughed at apart from the dumb dialogue. Mehcad Brooks, who you might know from Supergirl, plays a character called Jax. Also not that interesting. I mean, he's not in a lot of the movie, and he's also just fine. There is some good action stuff with him, but to be honest, I think he is the least interesting of the heroes when it does come to the action. Jessica McManey plays a character called Sonya Blade, and I didn't really hate her either. She did have a bit of a personality there. What I was very glad about her character is they didn't do the hot girl does action trope, which doesn't really exist in this movie, which I am very glad about, because that is kind of the level that this kind of movie would stoop to. And that's kind of all the characters there is to talk about. Raiden does have some interesting moments, but his plot is kind of confused, and the villains aren't really compelling at all in my opinion. So let's talk about what everyone watched this movie for, and that's the action. And my, did this movie have some cool action. There are some really good fights, there are some really cool moves. Each character kind of had a significant thing that they could use to their advantage, and I think this movie represented that really well. Sub-Zero had some really cool stuff, and the end fight was amazing. Every time Scorpion's there, it is cool as well. There are some problems, there are some slow scenes, and there is just a lot of boring action at times, but overall I did really love the action. The world building in this movie was definitely interesting. I think it was very forced, and there were some contrivances, and there was just a plot dump at one bit, and I think the characters in this movie just has way too easy a job just accepting this as the world they live in, and they don't question it for very long at all. But I feel like this movie did just chuck away 20 minutes of character development and world building and establishing the plot just for cool fights at the end, which to be honest I don't completely hate. One of the biggest complaints I would have for this movie, though, would have to be the dialogue, because I don't think there's a single conversation in this movie which sounds like a conversation anybody would have in their real life. There's lines like, "Remember, he's got a laser now," or when it starts snowing, Cole goes, "Hey, come look at this." There's just weird moments, and I don't think it's the delivery, it is more the writing, where there are just conversations that just wouldn't happen overall. I think there is just some confusion in the plot as well, because they never really fully explain what a Mortal Kombat is or how it works, and the rules of this isn't really established at any point. It seems like anyone can do anything at any point. But overall, it was really fun just for the action alone and just the sheer cheesiness of it. There are some amazing, gruesome fatalities in this movie, which I was a big fan of, and there's some other cool moments as well. So overall, I gave this 3 stars out of 5. There is a review on my letterbox, but I basically just said it all here anyway. But I would just like to thank you for watching all of my first ever video. Tell me down below what you thought of this movie, or if you haven't seen it, tell me why, because I'm interested to see if people think it's worth going out to see it at all. Yeah, please tell me what kind of videos you'd like in the future, because that would be really useful too. And please like, subscribe. It's weird saying those things. And just thank you for checking this out. All my links are down below, and I will see you next time. Bye.